Everyone says that if you want to lose belly fat or weight quickly, you should stop eating roti, flatbread. Today, I am going to tell you about an old technique of eating roti. If you follow this, you can easily reduce your belly fat, lose weight, and even cure your illnesses while still eating roti. You must have noticed what our grandmothers used to do in the old days. Food was cooked just once or twice a day, and they would make extra and keep it, and everyone would eat that. Did they fall sick? Were they overweight? Did they have diabetes? Did they have heart disease? Did they have high blood pressure? None of that was the case. In fact, they were even more energetic. So what is that old technique they used to follow, which we have forgotten? You must have also heard from your grandfather, grandmother, or elders that people in the old days used to eat so many rotis. They used to eat sweets too, ate a lot, and yet they stayed healthy. So what was their method that they used? And even after eating so many rotis, they remained healthy. These days, we are told to stop eating rotis, that this is the reason we are getting sick and gaining weight. How many days can we really avoid eating rotis? I mean, we have to eat them because it's part of our culture. Roti is a part of our culture. We've been eating it since childhood, so that's why we can't give it up. So let me tell you about the technique that if you start following from today itself, will quickly reduce your belly, help you lose weight, and also cure your illnesses. If, like thousands of others, you also want to lose weight quickly, you can join my online classes. So let me tell you what that technique is without any delay. Look, friends, what do you need to do? You need to start eating leftover roti, stale flatbread. Now you might say that eating leftover roti makes you sick. We never eat leftover roti at all. We either throw it to the dogs, feed it to the cows, or just toss it in the dustbin. Some people even say that they just throw it straight into the dustbin. Look, it is always said that you should never throw away roti, especially not in the trash or the drain. It was considered inauspicious. Even today, my mom always tells me not to throw roti on the ground. You should never put food at anyone's feet, and no food of yours should ever go into the trash or dustbin. This is considered inauspicious, but today I found out why they used to say that. They used to say this because by chance, if you are full and there is extra food left and next time you will still have enough food to cook, then they would say to give it to a cow or to hungry animals so that their hunger can be satisfied. This does not mean at all that they will fall ill or become unhealthy. Now, before I explain how leftover roti helps with weight loss, first I want to tell you that look, in earlier times, people didn't have that much time. There was also a lot of work to do, so what they would do is cook a lot of food at once and keep it ready. For example, in the old days, people used to eat the leftover roti from the night before in the morning, with pickles, with jaggery, with lassi, and that kept their energy levels up throughout the day. They used to work so hard in the heavy fields, and even after doing all that, they never got sick. Meaning, after eating that roti, they always had plenty of energy and they never became overweight. And it wasn't like they ate less roti either. They would eat roti to their heart's content. They didn't even know that one should eat less roti. In fact, they would eat as much as they possibly could. They believed that if they didn't eat, how would they be able to work? So that's what they did, and my grandmother always ate cold roti. So now let me tell you how this is beneficial for us and why you should eat leftover roti. I will also definitely discuss how much you should eat. So first, let's talk about how leftover roti helps you reduce belly fat. See, what happens in leftover roti is this. Compared to fresh hot roti, its glycemic index becomes lower. When does obesity increase? Whatever we eat, if its glycemic index is high, it immediately raises your blood glucose levels. Because of this, the insulin hormone is released in your body. And what this hormone does is that it quickly removes glucose from the blood. If it doesn't remove the sugar from the blood, then this sugar reaches your organs, your brain, and your nerves. If too much glucose or sugar stays there, then what will happen? Your red blood cells won't be able to function properly, which means oxygen won't reach those areas and those organs will start to get damaged. That's why in diabetic patients, if their blood glucose level gets too high, their brain doesn't function properly. They say that they feel very weak, very tired, and lethargic. What they mean is there are many such symptoms. They start to feel tingling, pain throughout the body. So these kinds of symptoms begin to appear. So what does the insulin hormone do? It immediately picks up the excess glucose from there and starts sending it to be stored as fat. So when does this happen? When you eat foods with a high glycemic index. So in what foods do you find a high glycemic index? When you eat wheat roti, firstly, wheat doesn't have fiber. And if you're eating refined flour roti, plus eating it piping hot, that also makes a big difference. Nowadays, all of us are obsessed with eating hot food. You must have heard that you should eat fresh food. But eating fresh food doesn't mean you have to eat it piping hot. The roti is taken straight from the pan and put directly onto your plate. The meaning of fresh food is that you shouldn't eat food that's rotten, food that's been kept in a packet for a long time, or food that's been stored in the fridge for many days and you haven't even looked at it and now it's turned black. Don't eat that kind of food. Eat food that is fresh, that looks fresh, whose color hasn't changed. That's what fresh food means. You must have noticed that foreigners never make or eat bread at the same time as it's cooked. They eat things like bread and burgers. But even then, if you look at the body structure of foreigners compared to us Indians, you'll see they have less fat and more muscle mass. So now you might say, oh, then we should eat bread. What I mean is not that you should start eating bread that's stale for 10 days. No, that's not what I mean at all. You should eat home-cooked food, but you need to know the right way to eat it so that it helps you lose weight. So, let's talk about stale roti. In comparison to fresh roti, as it's written here, it has a slightly lower glycemic index. Let me explain this to you. If you eat things like potatoes or rice, then after boiling the potatoes, for example, leave them aside for 5 to 10 hours. The starch in them then turns into resistant starch. That means it won't cause a sudden glucose spike. This will help you lose weight and you will never become a diabetes patient. Now see, this helps keep your stomach full for a long time and increases your satiety because its warming nature becomes slightly cooling when you leave it for 4 to 5 hours, which reduces your urge to eat repeatedly. Next, if you soak stale roti in water or milk and eat it, it has countless benefits and it also develops natural probiotic properties. Natural bacteria also develop in it. And now I am going to tell you how you should eat it so that you can lose weight quickly and start getting a lot of benefits from it. It improves digestion. People who have trouble digesting food or suffer from gas and bloating should immediately stop eating hot roti. Immediately stop eating hot rice. Along with this, anything that contains starch or any hot food that comes straight to your plate as soon as it's made, stop eating those things as I suggest. And when you start eating slightly cooled food, notice the difference it makes in your body. It speeds up digestion and boosts metabolism, which helps you burn fat. Next, as I just told you, it forms resistant starch, which prevents glucose spikes and helps you avoid obesity to a great extent. When you eat leftover roti, you'll notice it puffs up a little because bacterial growth starts to occur in it. Due to this bacterial growth, the bacteria present in the air start consuming its starch. As they consume it, you'll also notice a slight smell in it. Notice the smell of leftover roti that's 7 or 8 hours old and compare it to the smell of fresh roti. You'll notice a faint smell similar to that of curd. So this means that bacterial growth does occur in it. What it does is prevent your glucose from spiking, keeps your stomach feeling full for a longer time, and also keeps your gut bacteria healthy. And my grandmother used to say that you should eat rice that's a year old and wheat that's 2 years old. Now, I once asked her why she used to say that. Why should we do this? And she said that the starch in rice, if you store it for a year, turns into resistant starch. I mean, she didn't know all the details. It was only when I searched on the internet today that I found such in-depth information. But she used to say that eating it this way doesn't upset your stomach. For example, when fresh wheat comes in, if you make rotis from it right away and eat them immediately, some people get diarrhea, some get constipation, and some say they feel heavy. They say, oh, we made rotis from the new wheat, that's why we're having trouble, but those problems don't happen. My grandmother used to say this, but when I researched it, I found out that the fiber content in it actually increases. The old wheat and the toxic substances present in it also get eliminated. For example, a lot of pesticides are used and the toxic substances from the soil that get into the wheat are also eliminated. So if you use old wheat, that's why you should avoid making rotis immediately from freshly ground flour, even if the flour has just been milled at home and is still warm. Eating such rotis right away is not good for your stomach. If you keep doing this repeatedly, making everything fresh every time, making fresh flour and eating rotis made from it, then you are making a mistake. You should let it cool down a bit somewhere along the way. It's also true that you shouldn't use flour that's 2 or 3 months old. That also goes bad because its nutrient quality deteriorates. But the older the wheat, the better it is. So now, what should you eat this roti with to help you lose weight faster? so that you don't feel hungry again and again. For diabetic patients, so that their blood sugar level doesn't rise, the best thing is curd. Curd already contains bacteria, so what you need to do is this. Take a small bowl of curd. This is also the best option for those who eat roti in the morning. You can eat roti in the morning because people often get confused thinking they're gaining weight or their blood sugar level is increasing or they're becoming diabetic patients or they're starting to take medicines. Even then, if your blood sugar level doesn't stay normal or your weight keeps increasing, you should stop eating roti in the morning. Everyone says this, but if you can't quit, then the best option is to follow this method. For example, you can use leftover roti from the night before, but don't eat too much of it. Don't start eating 3 or 4 rotis. Anything you eat should be in balance within limits, only then is it beneficial. So you can have leftover roti, you can lightly warm it up and spread some ghee on it, and what you need to do is take a small bowl of curd. About half an hour before eating, break the roti into pieces and soak them in the curd. After that, add green chutney to it, whether it's made of mint or coriander. Any green chutney made from natural ingredients, green things, or leafy items can also be eaten with it. Eating this in the morning is especially beneficial. You also get nutrients from this, and if your body is lacking in nutrients such as vitamin B12, vitamin D, or other vitamins, those deficiencies also start to get resolved. If you are experiencing weakness, fatigue, joint pain, or even dental problems, then you should definitely eat this stale roti soaked in curd. Take 1 or 2 rotis, however much you usually eat, and soak them in a bowl of curd. After that, you also need to add some dry spices to it. For example, you can add black pepper, dry ginger powder, and if you have it, you can also add long pepper powder. What happens is that some people tend to catch a slight cold or start sneezing. This problem won't occur, so you can add these things. Add a little bit of black salt. Anyway, you'll be adding salt to the chutney, so don't make it too salty. Just add salt according to your taste. Now you need to soak this roti. Add a little chutney to it as well. As I mentioned, mix in the coriander and mint chutney and eat it by chewing thoroughly. Then you'll see that you won't feel very hungry. After eating this, you won't have any cravings. Those who want to lose weight will find this very helpful for weight loss. Your blood sugar level, if it tends to be high, won't be anymore. Those whose blood pressure goes high, that won't happen either. Yes, those who have high cholesterol can use curd after removing the cream. Curd is really the best. It won't increase your cholesterol at all. In fact, it will help improve your HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, and it won't raise your LDL. So that's why you can have curd or buttermilk. If you eat this way, you'll see your belly reduce very quickly. I can say with a guarantee that if you start eating like this, but what I mean is not that you should keep eating the same thing in the afternoon too, or keep eating stale roti at night. You can eat stale roti. Roti that is 4 or 5 hours old can be eaten. But I'm definitely not saying that you should start eating roti that's 7 days old. You should start eating things made 7 days ago. I'm absolutely not saying that. You should eat fresh things and eat them in balance. Next, what should you be careful about? Don't just get fixated on roti alone. You should also add salad and also add fruits. Other things like dry fruits that you eat should also be consumed in small quantities. This absolutely does not mean that you should keep eating cold rotis. No matter how much you eat, you will lose weight. You have to eat everything in balance, but I have told you a way so that you won't need to give up roti. And I'll give you one more tip that will turn your roti into fermented roti. What do you need to do? Add the paste of any vegetable to your flour like bottle gourd, coriander, spinach, cabbage, cauliflower or peas. Make dough with it, prepare nice rotis from it and keep them overnight. Keep them in a fresh, clean place wrapped in a cloth, and in the morning take those rotis about half an hour before eating, dip them in yogurt or buttermilk and then sit down and eat them slowly, chewing well. If you eat this way, it will help you a lot, especially with weight loss and if your belly isn't reducing. And along with this, one more thing,